couple seconds for our speaker to show up. But she is not here yet, so maybe she's running late. We'll just have to wait. I'd like to thank Greg and Stephanie for being greeters today. Eric for being ticket master, Beth for getting all this together. Pete Bales, Mark Weinstein, and Mark Zwick for our programs. And Jim Grundle for the website. Thank you all. One thing before I call up Danny, I know you've all seen the news about what's happened in Texas. It's sad to lose all those people. And I don't know how those first responders, how it's going to affect them down the road. I'm just trying to imagine myself in their position, seeing all those bodies and, not being able to save all of them. That has to affect their minds. See if we can make any yeah, would you like to get indicated? Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Well, good afternoon. Would you join me in prayer? Oh, Holy Creator, you have blessed us with pranks and laughter and fun. With the rain, the soft, and the light from the sun, you blessed us with stars to brighten each night. You've given us help to know right from wrong. You've given us so much to please. Lord, give us too a heart that is always grateful to you. Amen. Amen. Gas and car. Yeah, cemeteries and portions,
Yeah, we're at Dixie Keepers Hill today. We have one yet, Beth. Yeah, I had Jonas work together, credit union. He's a realtor. He was interested in joining Beavercreek Rotary. He said, "Hey, Beth, you remember coming come?" I said, "Yes, of course." So anyway, this is just
The written Josh in here today, his brother was taken to Cleveland Hospital, and his brother's having surgery today, and he wanted to be there. And he said it was kind of touch and go. I don't know what the issue was. I didn't ask him, but he's going to keep us up to date on how he's doing. Sergeant at Arms, Chris, are you ready, sir?
Thank you, sir. All right, good afternoon, fellow Rotarians, and hello again to everyone that's here and our incredible speaker who just saved me from spending the next 40 minutes up here trying to entertain everyone. And welcome again to the July 11th meeting of the Rotary Club of Beavercreek. And not only is today National 7-Eleven Day for the obvious reason, but more importantly, it is National Free Slurpee Day at participating gas stations. So definitely take advantage of that on this hot summer day. For birthdays and holidays, I was a big dummy and forgot to plan ahead on our last meeting for all the birthdays and anniversaries we would have missed last week because of the holiday. So luckily, we don't have any upcoming birthdays or anniversaries. So all of these are going to be happy belated. So we got some partners' belated birthdays. David Hayes celebrated his birthday on July 8th. Brenda Graham celebrated her birthday on July 9th. So I hope you two did not forget those. And wedding anniversaries, Bob, Troy, and Jean celebrated, it doesn't give me a number of years, but I want students one year of happily ever after on the 7th of July. And then Carrie and Jay Souter celebrated 37 years on the 9th. Some good things that happened today in history. Back in 1864, someone yelled out, "Get down, you fool," at Abraham Lincoln, which helped him survive a battle and made him the only U.S. president to come under enemy fire during the battle. In 1914, a guy by the name of Babe Ruth made his debut in Major League Baseball. 1938, the RFK Bridge also known as the Tri-Borough Bridge, opened to traffic in New York City. So what's cool about this bridge? Well, for all of you engineering nerds, the series of bridges and viaducts span over 5 feet and link the boroughs of Manhattan, Queens, and Bronx. The first section of the complex passes over Harlem River and is also the largest vertical lift bridge in the world. And the East River Suspension Bridge towers were placed atop 400,000 steel ball bearings, which allowed the bridge to freely shift 13.5 inches in either direction. And the suspension cables, which hold together 10,800 miles of wiring, are held in anchorages that hold them fast beneath the weight of 130,000 tons of concrete.
Wow.
This won the American Society of Civil Engineers designation of the National Historic Civil Engineering Landmark in 1986. In 1985, Nolan Ryan became the first major league pitcher with 4,000 strikeouts. In 1985, a U.S. Air Force jet flew to the Antarctic to drop off emergency medical supplies to a South Pole Research Center for physician Dr. Jerry Nelson, which she discovered a lump in her breast. Now, what sets her apart from all of us is in the wintertime up there, the station is pretty much cut off from the rest of the world, and she had to operate on herself to extract tissue sample for analysis. I don't think anyone in this room would do that. Sure. All right, so let's move on to some fun things now. Coming up on Saturday, if you're looking to celebrate some things, we have National Etch-a-Sketch Day, which I think all of us grew up with one of those in our household. It is also National Eat Your Jello Day, and it does not specify if it has to have vodka in it or not. Awesome. Sunday, if you've ever been a parent to a boy, then there's a good chance that you or they celebrated International Rock Day every time that they saw a rock outside, especially if it was a special rock. Sunday is also Frontline Workers Day, which is great because Sunday is the perfect day to celebrate those workers who truly feel content in their jobs, which automatically excludes those lazy millennials, of course, says a fellow millennial. Monday, I know there are definitely a few people in here that will be celebrating National Tape Measure Day. And no offense to anyone, but I don't want to know anyone in this room who will be celebrating National Nude Day on Monday. National. Tuesday is National Developmental Disability Professionals Day, along with Social Media Giving Day. Wednesday, if I ever became mega rich, I wouldn't say anything, but there would definitely be signs like me celebrating National Personal Chef Day with my personal chef. But also because I am frugal, I will also be celebrating National Hot Dog Day with my personal chef. Moving on to Thursday, speaking of becoming mega rich, Thursday is National Lottery Day. And if you're not mega rich, but you love money, you can utilize all the money emojis for World Emoji Day. If you're looking for some fun things to do, not a lot going on that I saw, but Sunday we do have the summer concert series at Lafino Park from 7 to 8 featuring the Smithville South Band. And then Thursday, our friends at the Chamber will be hosting their monthly business link at the Ashford of Beavercreek from 4:30 to 6. Now, normally I like to highlight all the awesomeness that's going on with our school, but since school is out and the people that run that social media accounts for the school aren't posting anything that I can use, decided to maybe take this time to teach you all little things that I come across on the internet and maybe make you a little smarter or help you out with some future trivia games. So to start off, what does Beavercreek, New York City, and LA all have in common?
Traffic.
All of those are very valid answers, but we were just awarded, we are one of the 3 cities that Speedway has redecorated a gas station with dinosaurs for the new Jurassic World movie. So that us being picked with LA and New York, I mean, I think that makes our city the greatest city in the state. Also, they are giving away free Slurpees today. So if you do have young ones that love dinosaurs and Slurpees, it's an easy double dip to be the ultimate winner. Earlier this month on the 8th, Brandon Young of the Baltimore Orioles struck out 3 Mets batters on 9 pitches, giving him an immaculate inning, which is quite a good feat for a major league pitcher. But on the other side of the spectrum, if you're looking for one of the worst innings that has ever happened to a pitcher, you can go back to August 13th, 2006, when Luke Hudson of the Royals pitched 1/3 of an inning thanks to his 1 strikeout. But he also gave up 8 hits, 3 walks, 1 home run, 11 runs, before being pulled out of the first inning, earning him the highest ERA ever of 270. Cleveland went on to win that game 13-0. Fun fact, tonically speaking, bananas are berries and strawberries are not berries. Butterflies can taste with their feet. So the next time one lands on you and immediately flies away, that might be a sign. I also learned that the Jergens cherry almond lotion is known to repel insects. So maybe you're not stinky after all, it's just a lotion. Also learned that there are more stars in the, supposedly, I don't think anyone has the accurate number, but there are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on the earth. But there are more possible iterations of the game of chess than there are atoms in the known universe. There's also a planet made of burning ice, which they really missed an opportunity when they gave a typical weird name with some letters and numbers instead of naming it Planet Icy Hot. And then for some fun headlines that I've read and moved on from immediately, Gen Z has embraced the fridge cigarette. Does anyone know what that is? Fridge cigarette. It is taking a break from work to drink a Diet Coke. Gen Z has also popularized bathroom camping. Which at first when I read that, I thought we've been doing that for decades at work. But apparently Gen Z has taken it to the extreme where they go and pee out in the bathroom for hours at a time while. And now for this last one, I did have to read because it caught my attention. So for the Gen Z trifecta, I read that they have started a trend called micro retirement. So I had to read this one. And so these breaks are not your standard PTO. They're intentional unpaid time to rest and recharge. Some examples are quitting a job and finding a new one when you're ready to work again. Setting up a plan for your employer to allow you to take frequent unpaid work breaks. And if you are yourself a business owner, you just take a break from running your business. So something to keep in mind if you have any Gen Zers or if you're a business person wanting to take an unpaid break. And since this is our first official meeting after changing the guard, I think it'd be a good time to go over some fun social media analytics from our last guard. So no pressure, David, on your upcoming reign as president, but in the last year, we gained a total of 90 followers on Facebook, which is only a 6% increase from the previous year. But our reach increased by 115%. Our content interaction increased 439%, and the links clicked on increased 2,600%. Now, I think this is mainly due to the incredible speakers that Mike, Mark, Don, Pete, and everyone else helped bring into here. And now you're probably wondering, what was that other part that happened? Well, Facebook was unable to give me data on views, but I was able to see what post had the most views. And so for our top 3 most viewed posts that had a total of over 10,300 views, there was one reoccurring theme. Does anyone know what that theme was? It was a picture that had Joe Jenkins in it. And then of our top 3 most liked, loved, black. There's more. Of our 3 most liked, loved, laughed posts, which that also sounds like a sign you see at Hobby Lobby for 50% off. There were one of them deserves a category of its that stands alone in its own. That had the most likes and emoji signs clicked on, and that was the announcement of legendary Ed Phillips passing away. Now the next 3 weren't anything about dictionary drop-offs, Christmas baskets, or any fun community projects. The first one was a picture of Joe Jenkins penning Jason Jones. The next one was a picture of Joe Jenkins sitting with Don and the elusive Stephen Brown. But unfortunately, the streak was broken with the third one being the meeting recap of Paul Alton's Beavercreek City Schools update. So with that being said, can I make a motion for Joe Jenkins to be the inaugural club social media influencer, or do we have to wait for the meeting? All right. And now for our favorite part, today's fines. You're not wearing your badge, that'll be $1. If you were late, not gonna call you out, that's $1.
No, for sure.
If you've ever played the lottery, that's $1. And if you did not get the memo and you are not wearing anything Hawaiian today, that's gonna be $1. Now, before we jump into Happy Bucks, I do want to bring something back that the busiest mayor in the world used to do when he was sergeant at arms and leave you with a little positivity to think about. So today or this week's note of positivity, you need to let go of all the old things if you're trying to receive bigger and better blessings. Stop holding on to things from the past if you are trying to embrace a better future. And on that note, David, time for Happy Bucks.
My times. You ready for the drawing? You're working on it. They're working on it. It's in the color. The fabric is getting on. Well. Oh, me? Yeah. It's not my all. How much is there? What am I my head? 136714.
Bingo. No way. Oh, I think it will. No, you went and bought it out, right? Oh, no. Done.
It's been a couple of weeks since you. You had to carry your stratus to the pot. Okay. Now, half the proceeds of this goes for our Christmas baskets.
I'll take one.
By road?
Yeah.
All right, the letter gets spent. Are there any announcements from any of the members of the club? You want to bring up?
I forgot to bring the clipboard for greeters, but we need one more greeter for next week. If anybody's interested, let me know. No, not next week, the week after, 18th, no, 25th. I need my clipboard, 25th.
All right. Our speaker today is Alicia Murray, CEO. Daybreak Day. Pardon?
Happy Bucks.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. We're getting happy bucks. I'm not a step. Not a happy.
5. I know it's gonna cost me 5. You can let Krista know I spent $5. If you guys can sign these petition, one is for, if you live in Beavercreek, one is for Krista Hunt to run for school board, and the other one is for Tiffany Sports for Beavercreek, city council. So if you guys can sign this, can I come and get somebody's signature?
Yeah. Any other happy?
Have a happy book. My husband and I will be leaving in less than 10 days to go to Alaska for heat, to celebrate our 30th anniversary. So,
So sorry. And Becker. Yes.
My grandson's flying at T-38 at Shepherd right now in pilot training, and he just took off full afterburners and the little movie of it. That's all. So a nice memory.
Gotta be proud of that.
The same damn airplane.
I've got a granddaughter right now in Colorado. Air Force Academy. I don't know what she's gonna get into, but.
He's got a girl in his class.
Pardon?
He's got a girl in his pilot training.
How about you? Okay. Our speaker today is Alicia Murray, CEO of Daybreak Dating. And here to introduce her is Mike Zoid. Bring over. Solid, please. I wish you told me something here. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir. You just stole my whole introduction. I'm very proud to introduce our very special guest, Alicia Murray. She has been with Daybreak since 2007, current CEO. The first time I heard of Daybreak was in 1985, not long after the founding. They had a little house on Wayne Avenue where they started. And they have come a long way. They do wonderful stuff for kids and youth. And Alicia, please go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mike, for that introduction. Thank you all for letting me come and share a little bit about Daybreak. I didn't bring a PowerPoint because I want to just have a candid conversation about what we do and hopefully answer your questions regarding what our services look like. So as I already mentioned, we've been around since 1975 in the city of Dayton. We started as a small home on Wayne Avenue where we initially served girls. Our founding members were a board of teachers that saw a system issue in our community where youth were homeless, right? So started out with young girls and then they added on boys not too long after that. And as already mentioned, we've come a long way since 1975. We turned 50 years old earlier this year on January 19th. And with that, we're hoping to gain momentum in what we hope to do moving forward. So a little bit about us, we have an emergency shelter for ages 10 to 17 for our minor age youth, and then ages 18 to 21 for our young adults. Our service capacity goes from ages 10 all the way up to 24. We provide transitional housing for our young adults ages 18 to 24, not only on site, but also in our community that we serve. Although we are housed in Montgomery County, what's really important for you guys to know, we serve Greene County and the surrounding counties in the area. We are the only youth serving agency in the community that provides services to unhoused youth and vulnerable youth. With that being said, that's not the only thing that we do. We have a supportive employment program because we understand addressing homelessness is just not just giving a person a place to stay. It's helping them have the tools they need to not only manage their housing, but hopefully keep that in place for years to come. So employment is very important to us. On site, we have a Lindy's Cafe, which has a 20-week or 24-week curriculum that provides supportive employment training to our youth to help them gain the skills needed to not only to get employment, but also hopefully to maintain that employment. We provide them with a stipend and they have the opportunity to provide meals to all of our other clients that we serve. So we have a cafe that makes breakfast, lunch, and dinner for all of our youth in our community, if you will. In addition to that, we have parenting youth, where we have youth come to us that either are pregnant or have small children. We provide temporary housing to them along with the parent curriculum and access to additional services to help them not only manage their children, but also be effective and good parents as well. That comes along with other partnerships to help us ensure that we're meeting those needs, as well as ensure that they have continuity in their parenting and housing. In addition to that, we have clinical services because 100% of our youth come in with an identifying mental health disorder. And out of that, 35% of our youth have a pervasive diagnostic disorder. So we provide supportive clinical services to ensure that our youth are stabilized, but also that equips them to manage their housing once they obtain it. Along with that, we also see issues where partnering with other agencies helps us ensure continuity of care. Issues meaning that we understand that we have limitations in our services, so it behooves us to partner with community providers to ensure that all the needs of our youth are met. I'm going to stop there to see if I have any questions. Yes, ma'am.
That statistic about 100% mental illness.
Yes.
Oh, my word.
Yes.
Has that been consistent or is that gotten worse, like as time has gone on?
That's a good question. So consistently speaking, 100% has kind of been the trend that we've seen. The range and the pervasiveness of the disorders has gone up. So what I mean by pervasive disorder, that means that when I started in 2007, we may have had 1 or 2 youth come in with a diagnosis of schizophrenia. That's changed significantly. We're seeing the onset of schizophrenia, for instance, increase, which we do know youth coming into severe mental health disorders typically happens around 18 to 22. So they're already within our range, but we're seeing a higher rate of that actually happening, which also increases the rate of suicide ideation and actually, unfortunately, youth completing suicide, which for Montgomery County alone has gone up significantly. since COVID? Good question. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Do the children that come to you, are they homeless because they were abandoned or runaways? Or do you know?
It's a mixture of all. So we do track data when youth come in, as far as that we get critical information at intake and while they're staying with us in whatever capacity to kind of determine what brought them there. And sadly, it's a mix of all what you said. Some of our youth come to us because they're fleeing unsafe environments. So because they're unaccompanied minors, they're coming in ages 10 to 17, we have 24 hours to notify the authorities or children's services regarding their staying with us. Because generally a caregiver would have to be able to sign off on critical information to allow us to serve them. So they could be fleeing an unsafe environment. They could be coming to us because sadly their family's impoverished and there's not enough to go around in the household. They could be running away. But then sadly, overall, it's because of the impoverished piece. There's lack of needed things in their home that make it not feasible for them to stay. Because sadly, when a parent is bringing a child to us, that's a problem. That's a problem. And we, unfortunately, in my area, I have seen youth as young as 10 years old come to us, which is unfortunate because they're in a house. And it's interesting because when you think of homelessness, you never really attach that to youth and young adults, which again creates other questions that you're asking, because why is a youth unaccompanied and homeless, right? So it's all the things that I mentioned. It could be abuse and neglect, like I mentioned, they're fleeing an unsafe environment, which then we get involved the police as well as children's services to provide additional supports in that space. But youth are coming to us that young. And unfortunately, what we're seeing in the unaccompanied area, if you're coming to us as a minor age youth, sometimes if issues aren't resolved, we then see them in our young adult shelter space after they've aged out of our minor age shelter. Yes.
How do you deal with schooling?
Yes, because of the McKinsey-Vento Act, which deals with homelessness and keeping youth in their school districts, we partner very heavily with the surrounding school districts to ensure continuity in education, because as you can imagine, there's been a disruption to their education. So once we have them identified in our services, we try to work with the school that they're coming from to see about if there's any way of keeping them in that space. We do partner with Dayton Public Schools where they provide tutoring throughout the week for our youth, not only for our youth, but also our young adults. Because sometimes it may trickle into when they're now 18 and 19 years old, there's been a disruption in their education as well. But we partner really heavily with the school districts to ensure continuity of education. But the hope is, to give you some context, the average length of stay for our minor age youth is around 3 days, up to 21 days, because we don't want to keep anyone under the age of 17 in a shelter, right? But unfortunately for our youth ages 18 to 21, the average stay is about 45 days. And the reason why you're asking why is it 21 when you go to 24 is because they only have 16 young adult beds. So I have a total of 24 beds for emergency shelter. So unfortunately, we keep hotline lists of youth calling in saying, hey, I need a bed, I need a space. And we have hotlines where we gather information because we stay at occupancy. So the minute we have an opening, we get that individual in that space, but we partner with all the other adult shelters that if our youth show up in those spaces, we then deploy staff in those spaces to provide services and get them open there. But we do have an issue when we don't have enough emergency shelter beds. As far as our apartments, we do have 24 apartments on site at our facility, and we have about 60 or so apartments in the community that we work with landlords where we put the lease in our name, we partner with them and have our youth stay in those spaces until they graduate from our program. Because we have a program in place, a lot of our youth are successful in taking over the lease of those apartments, which is why our number varies on how many apartments we have in the community. Because if the youth graduates successfully, the lease thing is turned in their name and they're managing it moving forward. Our hope is to actually decrease homelessness, right? Will we eradicate it? Can't say if we will or we won't. But as I heard someone say about the food bank, they're hoping to shorten the line. I hope to shorten the need. So if we're needed less, then that to me is a success in ending or addressing homelessness. Yes, sir.
Do you get funding from the Human Service Levy?
You know, what we get funding from is from Adamus. Montgomery County Animus, which is dealt.
48 board that.
Yes, yes, we're a byproduct of what funding may come through that space. But a good question about our funding though. So we have diversified pots of funding, meaning that all of our eggs aren't in one basket. So we do receive federal funding, state funding, local county and city funding, as well as development or donor in-kind donations or monetary donations. And because we provide clinical services, we do build Medicaid and get some sense of money from that space as well.
How is this shortage of housing costs for young adults affecting the 18 to 24-year-old?
It definitely creates a barrier because in the community, as you just mentioned, there's already a scarceness of housing or affordable housing, if you will. And when you look at our youth that are coming into the space, having little to no rental history, they may have inconsistency with their employment. It creates huge barriers for them obtaining those housing spaces, right? So what we try to do is be more on the other side, where the more we can fortify and equip them with employment and consistent employment, helping them navigate how to budget and maintain their expenses, and then putting them in spaces where they can actually take over the lease, helps address that. Do we resolve it completely? No, but it's our efforts to ensure that there's continuity to hopefully keeping them sustained in housing. But it definitely is an area where it's affecting everyone when it comes to housing shortages. Yeah. Questions? Anything else? Well, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to share about Daybreak. As I mentioned, we've been around for 50 years. We're putting things in place this year where we hope to continue that, if you will. We do have an open house coming up on August 18th at our facility where we provide tours and provide education on site about what we do. And you have the opportunity to actually visit our shelter, visit some of our apartment units, meet with some of our staff, learn more about our services, because our whole thing is that the more we can provide wraparound holistic services, it kind of addresses all the needs that our youth are facing to again achieve ending the homelessness they're dealing with and helping them more or less maintain a positive and bright future. So thank you again for your time. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Alicia. We appreciate it. And it sounds like, that program is doing a lot of good for a lot of kids. And hopefully you can lower the need. Like you said, I thought that was a good point to bring up. Just lower the need instead of short line. Very good. And as usual, with our custom, we're donating a book to the public library. It is, what can you do with a chance? And I think it fits very good with Alicia's talk today. Great. Very good. Next week's speaker is Tom Nichols, voice of the Dragons. And our graders will be Dave Dunce and Beth Kuzak. And was anything else to bring up from me? Probably all right with the clip? I'm glad it's within a lot of the United States of America. To the Republic for which it stands, one nation, and not baseball players. Hey, gentlemen, have a good week. Any, all right, people will ask what you had and take a 40 comments. We're trying to do it. Carrying your children, Sean. Sending, like Joe and I got every one of these little cozies. And it's like a 4-way test. It's a 4-way beer test. But yeah, I want for each one of you, if you stop up there and see Joe, you're welcome to. And just all the free. Okay, I've got a board meeting after this, right? I'm glad you reminded me. And you have to show me what meetings, person you should, bring it.